Good evening and welcome to the January 16th, 2019 legislative session of the Town Board. I'll officially call this meeting to order. I'll ask that we all rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'll ask our clerk to please call the roll.
Cole.
Here.
LaFountain.
Here.
Metzler.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Quinn.
Here. Thank you. We will start with communications and announcements, and I'll recognize the clerk, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Penfield residents in need of a new or updated passport are invited to attend one of the upcoming 2019 Passport Nights in Penfield. The 2019 Passport Nights will be held on Thursdays, April 4th, July 25th, and October 3rd, and the time has changed from what we've been going for several years now to 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Still at the Town Hall of Penfield, 3100 Atlantic Avenue. This service comes to Penfield through the partnership of Monroe County Clerk's Office and the Town of Penfield. And for more details, visit the town's website at penfield.org or call 340-8629. And as we get closer to these events, we will have more information out for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Quinn.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, everyone. And Amy, I do want to ask, because I'm asked all the time by residents, will pictures be taken at the Passport Night?
Pictures will be taken, and 2 for $7.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much. I need to keep remembering, but that was more for the record than anything else. So, one announcement this evening. Heating equipment for your home provides a comfort during the winter months, but it is also the leading cause of fire fatalities in the United States. Some simple steps can help prevent most heating-related fires and equipment, such as furnaces, fireplaces, wood-burning stoves, or portable space heaters. Be sure to set 3-foot perimeter around your heating unit to keep children and any items that can burn away from the source. Remember to turn portable space heaters off when leaving a room or before going to bed. Never use your kitchen stove or convection oven to heat your home. Have a qualified professional install, clean, repair, or replace a home heating system to meet local codes and the manufacturer's instructions. Cleaning and inspection should be done yearly. And finally, test your smoke alarms monthly to keep everyone safe should a fire occur. As a reminder, clearing any snow or ice outside your home that is blocking a heating system exhaust is critical in preventing the backflow of CO2. Carbon dioxide is a colorless, tasteless gas that can be fatal if spread throughout the home. Keep all your outside pipes clear and maintained. Stay warm but safe during this winter season. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Metzler.
I have one announcement this evening. The Penfield Community Victory Garden has beds now available to rent for the 2019 growing season. Rent a bed and be a part of a vibrant community of organic gardeners. The Community Victory Garden is located on 5 Mile Line Road, just south of Tall Tree Drive. You can visit penfieldrec.org or call 340-8651 for registration and more information. That's all I have for this evening.
Thank you. I have 2 announcements. The first one is that all town offices will be closed on Monday. That's of observance of Martin Luther King Day. So all town offices will be closed this coming Monday, the 21st. Second announcement, today I had the opportunity to attend the Greater Rochester Clean Cities Annual Stockholder Meeting. Bob Knauer and I did, representing the town, and more importantly, our EEAC, our Energy and Environmental Advisory Committee. Penfield was once again recognized for being one of the leaders in providing electric car charging stations for not only residents but also visitors to the town of Penfield. Clean Cities has given the town a couple of different grants to help us put those in and sponsor those, and that has also worked to help also identify some other locations across the town as well. So thank you to Bob Knauer for supporting us on that effort and the recognition for the town. Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The AARP Foundation Tax Aid Program is again partnering with Penfield Recreation Department to provide a free income tax return preparation for low to moderate income households with a focus on seniors 60 years of age or older. Individuals can sign up for an appointment to meet with an AARP representative on Wednesdays at the community center. Items that you must bring to your tax appointment include a photo ID of you and your spouse, if married, filing jointly, Social Security cards for yourself, your spouse, and any claimed dependents, a check to make direct deposits for any refunds, proof of health insurance coverage or health care coverage. Time and resources are limited, so please visit penfieldrec.org or see page 29 of the 2019 Winter-Spring Penfield Recreation Brochure for complete appointment preparations. To schedule an appointment, contact the Penfield Recreation Department at 340-8655 extension 0. Appointments will be available every Wednesday through April 3rd, 2019. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Cole?
I have 2 announcements. The Penfield Community Victory Garden will host a seed swap and seed starting workshop on Saturday, January 26th, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Penfield Community Center. Nancy Mayer, Chair of the Penfield Community Victory Garden, will demonstrate seed starting, making your own environmentally friendly paper pots, and a couple of really neat methods for creating your own seed tapes and square foot pre-seeded papers. Also, there will be a slide talk on winter flower branches, and everyone is welcome to bring collected seeds to share as an option. This event is co-sponsored by the Penfield Community Victory Garden and the Flower City Garden Network, and is free to open to the public. Pre-registration is requested by emailing flowercitygarden@gmail.com. And my other announcement is that my next community chat will be on Tuesday, February 19th from 5:30 to 7 in the New Book area at the Penfield Library.
All right, thank you. Move on to our next agenda item, which is public participation. There are 2 opportunities to address the board on any matter at this time, and again at the end of this agenda. You can do that one of 3 ways. If you're in the audience, you can come to the podium. You can call in at 340-8771, or you can log on at penfield.org. And I'll ask our clerk, has anyone signed up to speak to the board? And if by chance you haven't, we will next get to those that are here that would like to address the board that have not signed up. So have we, anyone that has signed up to address
Yes.
the board?
Janet Bovitz Sendifer.
Great, thank you. Janet, welcome.
Come on up.
If you come right to the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I've never done this, so excuse me if I stutter through.
Not a problem. We make this as comfortable as we possibly can.
So I live in Penfield, and on occasion, I drive by the old Clark House on Whalen Road in Clark. And I see that you have been cutting down many, many, many trees. I'm sure you have a lot of people calling about that, but I wanted to talk about just my feelings on the subject.
Okay.
So I have 3 parts. My first one is, you had stated on your website that the trees in front of the Clark House, that tree work is preventative and also gives remaining healthy trees a chance to flourish. But I don't see any trees left there on that corner to flourish. So that's a comment, but I'm concerned about that.
Okay, so if you take a look at the trees that were taken down in the spring, early summer of 2018 along Whalen Road, that bank of pine trees, those were identified as having the pine disease, and we took essentially all the pines down, as well as a few others that were either bad shape or compromised in some way. And the trees behind them, to give them an opportunity to get a little bit more sunlight, and for them that are healthy or identified as healthy, is to continue to grow. All Around the Clark House, the Clark House and the large trees in front of the Clark House, the locust trees that were there, they came down because they were rotted inside. And if you further take a look at those photos that we have on the website, you can see where they were rotted and actually cabled together. And we had those taken down more from a safety standpoint. And then what this board, as part of our decision, is we were looking to clean up trees within the Shadow Pines property. We completed the former front nine, or the north part of that property, to get that opened. And then we said that we were going to start on the back nine, which was the former back nine, which is the south side of that. And we have taken down a number of the trees along there as well. The stumps have not been removed, but they will be removed probably a little bit later than what we had planned, because our piece of equipment, our large excavator, needed some, actually shut down, and we had to send that in to get fixed. And we were intending to pull those stumps and fill in those holes. But again, now with the repair and with the cold weather, we may not do that probably for another month or two. That will not have an ultimate impact of opening up the back nine or former back nine. This board is working with our DPW to look ideally to have that opened up by the 1st of February. That is what our current goal is.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you've already answered my question, but I'm still going to keep going.
Yep, absolutely.
Regarding the tree removals along Whalen Road.
Okay.
I'm shocked. To me, it felt that a buzzsaw was just taken and just boop, every tree was gone. And so I read on your website that you had 2 arborists come and evaluate the trees for either dying, rotting, or at a hazard to people, but you chopped down every one. So was it really every tree was it every tree that had to go? I find it hard to believe that not one tree there could be spared, that they all were unhealthy or at risk.
Okay.
So was that true, though? Did they all have to go? That's my question.
We determined that to clean that corner up for sight distance, to take care of any of the compromised trees, any of the diseased trees, to go through and do what we did. And so that was a decision that this board had made as part of looking to clean up and then ultimately open up that property for residents to enjoy.
So it wasn't just because the trees were a hazard or they were sick, it was just your board's decision just to eradicate all the trees?
The primary reason was either disease dying or some compromised trees.
Okay. Then there's also another notation on your website that you're going to be looking at trees inside the perimeter.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean you have a plan to take down more trees?
They've already been done. It's already been taken care of. So before we opened up the front nine,
Right.
one of the things that we did was we went in and evaluated any trees that were hung up and other trees that were what are called widowmakers, or any trees that had either blown over with a root ball, and we cut those off and we stood the stump back up. But all of that has been done on both the former front nine and the former back nine.
No more trees are going to be taken down?
Well, I'm not gonna tell you that no more trees aren't. If a tree comes down,
Of course.
we will address that accordingly. But once we've finished up cleaning up the stumps, we have cleaned up a majority of the trees along Whalen Road. There are some pines along Clark Road that we have to address, but we're not going to address at this time.
And then when you got your recommendations from the arborist to remove all these trees, were they TRAQ certified?
Were they?
TRAQ, T-R-A-Q certified. That's a standard in the United States of risk assessment for each tree. So you should have an arborist who's track certified say, these are trees that need to come down for this reason, and then they will let you know if the trees can be saved in part or they should be taken down in totality.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering if the arborists that you used, if they were track certified to do that.
I don't know the answer to that question at this
Okay.
time.
Okay. And then my last question, sir, is do you have any plans to replace the trees that were removed with more trees?
At this time, there is not a plan. Again, this board is going to be waiting for recommendations, so the committee will be coming back to us with their thoughts and recommendations as to how that property should be used. Those are recommendations, and the board will take that and we'll take a look at what are the next steps for the property.
Okay.
What I'll say is that the one parcel that you may see some additional plantings would be the Clark House property. So that property that the town acquired is broken up into multiple components. There's the former front nine. There are a couple of parcels that make that 100 acres up. There is the back nine, former back nine. There's about a couple of parcels and about 100 acres there. And then there's the Clark House site, which is just shy of 5 acres. And that includes property on both sides of Clark Road. So it's the Clark House and it's the barn across the street. That property is the property that you might likely see additional plantings. This town board is going out early February is what our goal is right now for solicitations of interest and for different folks to utilize that Clark House. And we're going to give businesses and others the opportunity to come back and provide some thoughts and suggestions on how to use that Clark House. The board will evaluate those, and if there is a use that's approved to go in there, that's when you might see some additional plantings going in, but that would probably be the first property out of the total 212 acres.
Okay, and then I have one last question, and bear with me. I
Sure
have a
thing.
few pages, I'm sorry.
No, not a problem.
Thank you. You're very nice. I did a little research, not much, because I'm not a pro at any of this, but there is something called land use change, and that occurs whenever land is transformed from one use to another. And in this situation, the land use has not occurred yet because we don't know how that land is going to be used. So if you don't know how the land is going to be used, how can you decide to make changes with the trees being removed because you really don't know what you're doing with the land yet?
So again, we addressed the trees around the border of the property along Whalen Road and a little bit on Clark Road, and then those trees that were compromised internally. We did that, this board decided to do that for safety. We, from a town standpoint, we own that property and we have that ability to go in, or this board has a responsibility to go in to make sure our properties are as safe as they can be, especially if we open them up for use by our residents.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you. And at any time, if you have any other questions, feel free to send me an email and with a specific question, and I will address that question in writing back to you so that you have your question in writing and my answer in writing.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Absolutely. And you can do that one of two ways, supervisor@penfield.org or LaFountain@penfield.org. Both of those will come directly to me. All right? Thank you. Is there anyone else that has signed up? No. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the board on any matter? Participation in government? Got it. Got it. Not a problem.
Participate.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
good. All right, very good.
Give a chance at the end.
Well, welcome. And typically, I know you require a signature to say that you were here in addition to receiving your agenda that you could already have printed off the website. And our town clerk would be happy to certify the fact that you were here so that you can go back tomorrow and present that to your instructor. Okay? Great. I'll ask the board, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda this evening? Okay, seeing none, we have one set of minutes before us. It is the December 19th, 2018 minutes. Would entertain a motion of approval of those minutes.
I move that the minutes of December 19th be approved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. I'll ask the board, any discussion on those minutes? Seeing no discussion, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
5 ayes.
Thank you. Our next item, petitions. Has the town board, town attorney, or town clerk received any petitions since our last meeting? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to resolution by function. We'll start with law and finance, please.
2018 budget transfers.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas transfer funds are necessary for year-end reconciliation, and whereas the town board desires to have an up-to-date budget in relation to current income and expenditures, be it therefore resolved that the attached budget transfers be approved. For the record, Mr. Supervisor, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 12 budget transfers. Some of them are such as highway overtime, snow and ice and salt, library operations, sewer operations, and so forth. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Discussion. I'll just make one comment for those that are in the audience and might need that as part of their class information. So this board has a requirement, as do all municipalities, that we need to make sure that we have a balanced budget. And so when we adopt our budget, we don't have the ability to go over that budget. It's always nice if we can underspend. I mean, that's always the goal. But what happens is that within different groups, within a recreation program, you might have that account run a little bit over. Typically then within that same department, they'll take money from another account to again offset that additional cost. So their bottom line number for their department hasn't changed, but each of the line items then are properly accounted for. So that's part of what we do, and we typically, at the year end, you'd clean up for a year end as you're heading into 2019. And then typically, our finance director will put a resolution in every month or two if there's any tweaks that we might know. If you had a hard winter and needed a little bit more money for salt or overtime, they might have to take it out of maintenance, for instance, or equipment, something like that. So seeing no further discussion, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
5 ayes. 2018 transfer of funds in highway and general funds to restricted fund balance.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas projects completed for Monroe County and the Penfield Central School District, as well as equipment sales, resulted in an increase of unanticipated revenue in the highway fund. Whereas revenues in the general fund, including sales tax and departmental income, came in higher than anticipated. Now therefore, be it resolved, the following 2018 transfer be approved from highway assigned fund balance in $500,000 to highway restricted fund balance in the same amount. For general fund unassigned fund balance for $975,000 to general restricted fund balance in the same amount. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion. So this one is a little bit different. This is where we've received some additional revenue than what we had planned for. We were very fortunate to receive revenue that was on a planned for or unanticipated, I should say. I apologize. Unanticipated through some work that we got through Monroe County, through MCC. Through the school district. They asked us to do some work for them. This is an opportunity for the town to bring in some additional revenue than what is planned. The purpose and the idea of that gives us the opportunity that it can help offset some additional costs that we may have. In this particular case, for highway, we took that money and we're putting it in our restricted highway fund for the purchase of equipment. And that'll be money that down the road that we'll be able to utilize to purchase equipment and may be able to be less money that we have to budget for out of raising taxes or taxes to our residents. Okay, seeing no further discussion, I would ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
5 ayes. 2019 budget amendment, reducing appropriations in the highway fund.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas the 2019 adopted budget includes an appropriation from highway restricted fund balance for the purchase of a new sweeper in the amount of $260,000. Whereas due to the lead time necessary to receive the sweeper for use in 2019, the board approved the purchase of a new sweeper and use of restricted fund balance from the amount of $249,432 per town board resolution on November 7th, 2018. Now it be resolved that the following 2019 budget amendment reducing appropriations be approved. Under machinery and equipment for $260,000 to appropriated reserve funds for the same amount, $260,000. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion. Okay, seeing no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
5 ayes. 2019 budget amendment in general fund for funding of capital project.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas the town board periodically reviews capital infrastructure needs at town facilities. Whereas the town engineer and the director of public works has identified improvements to the town hall sewer system located in the town hall campus as a priority project for 2019. Be it resolved the following 2019 budget amendment be approved. Under revenue, unassigned general fund balance for $60,000 and appropriations under interfund transfer capital projects for the same amount of $60,000. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion. This is a project that we identified, I think, when I was on the town board back in 2000 or earlier. This facility, this campus is not on sewers, it's on septic system and has been since 1964. And one of the things that we have seen and observed over time is that we've had some failures. We've had to put in some additional leach lines. We do now have a sewer out on Jackson Road that we're able to tie into. And so finally, I think after 20 some odd years, we're going to finally tie in this campus, and we will then take the old septic system offline officially. So, seeing no further comments, I would ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
5 ayes. 2019 budget amendments in general fund for donations to recreation.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas the Recreation Department received the following donations to the DEER program, DEER is Daytime Education at Recreation, at the end of 2018 for use in 2019 totaling $2,250. Whereas the Department of Recreation also collected donations for the Brighton Penfield Rideshare Program operations to be used for supplies totaling $1,200. Be it resolved that the following 2019 budget amendment be approved. For DEER program and from the DEER program to the program of aging under the DEER program, and that's daytime education at recreation, in the amounts of $2,250 and in the amount of $1,200. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion. Seeing no discussion or further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
5 ayes. Adoption of electronic banking policy and debt management policy and revision to investment policy.
Moved.
Second.
Be it resolved that the town board hereby adopts the attached online banking policy and debt management policy consistent with recommendations from the Governmental Financial Officers Association. Be it resolved that Section 7 of the current town investment policy be revised for authorized institutions and in the amount consistent with state controller recommendations. Be it further resolved that such policies and revised policy take effect immediately. For the record, Mr. Supervisor, it's pretty extensive revised policy. It includes topics and subsections as scope, payables, EFT wire transfers, physical security, and then goes into the Town of Penfield debt management policy, Town of Penfield investment policy, subsections underneath those such as permitted investments, authorized financial institutions and dealers, purchase of investments, repurchase agreements, and then an Appendix A, list of schedules attached to that. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Further discussion? If anyone would like to have some very stimulating reading, GFOA, our Government Finance Officers Association, who supports us with these policies. They're all on the website. They're attached to these resolutions, and I guarantee you that you won't be able to keep your eyes open. So, but available for anyone that would like to review those in more detail. Okay, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please, on that resolution.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
5 ayes. Setting a public hearing for the establishment of the Capstone Subdivision Special Improvement District.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas a written petition has been received by the Penfield Town Board, duly dated and verified to contain required signatures, and having been presented to and filed with the Town Board of the Town of Penfield in Monroe County for the establishment of the Capstone Subdivision Special Improvement District. Whereas the proposed improvements consist of maintenance of all public areas and betterments such as stormwater treatment facilities, subdivision identification signs, and other items as deemed appropriate within the Capstone subdivision that solely benefits the residents thereof. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Penfield shall hold a public hearing at Penfield Town Hall on February 6th, on the 6th day of February 2019 at 7 p.m. on said date to consider this petition and to hear all persons interested in this subject. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion. See no further discussion. A roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
5 ayes. Setting a public hearing for adoption of local law number 1 of 2019 to be known as a local law amending and extending the moratorium and prohibition within the town of Penfield of public golf course redevelopment.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Penfield wishes to consider adopting proposed local law 1 of 2019, which would amend and extend the moratorium and prohibition of public golf course redevelopment on real property located within the Town of Penfield. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Penfield shall hold a public hearing, Penfield Town Hall, on February 20th, 2019, at 7 p.m. on said date to consider said proposal and to hear all persons interested in the question of the adoption of local law 1 of 2019, which would amend and extend the moratorium of public golf course redevelopment on real property located within the Town of Penfield. This local law shall not apply to 1.2 plus or minus acres of vacant land consisting of .588 plus or minus acres between 1837 and 1845 Baird Road and .62 plus or minus acres between 1875 and 1885 Baird Road adjacent to the real property commonly known as Shadow Lake Golf Course property. A copy of said law is attached and made part of as Schedule A and be further resolved to it. I'd just like to note, if I can, Mr. Supervisor, that on the attachment, be it enacted by the Penfield Town Board of the Town of Penfield as follows. There's 4 sections identifying the information that I just recited. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion. See no further discussion. A roll call vote calling for a public hearing.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
5 ayes. Authorization for supervisor to sign contract for website services.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas on October 3rd, 2018, the town of Penfield advertised for proposals to evaluate existing town web-based services and design services for the new Town of Penfield website. Whereas on October 26, 2018, the town of Penfield received 7 proposals from the following vendors: Jesse James Creative, Civic Plus, InfoGenie, eSolutions, eGovernment Strategies, Plateria, and Revised LLC. And whereas after thorough review, Revised LLC was found to meet and exceed all requirements as advertised in the RFP. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to sign a contract with Revised LLC for website design and hosting services pending its review and approval by the Penfield Town Attorney. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion.
For the record, Mr. Supervisor, if I can, I just would like to take a moment. I don't want to steal any of Councilman Rob Quinn's comments. I'd like to thank Dave Renner and his staff for doing an extremely thorough job putting together this RFP, getting all the information, data points that go involved in putting together an RFP. Obviously, 7 companies came to the table, which is quite extensive for a municipal RFP such as this. Again, thorough review with adequate follow-up. We discussed this at our last work session in depth. And I think it's a commitment not only by Dave and his team, but also a commitment from the town board to be proactive and take additional steps in providing more information to the residents of Penfield via the website. I've always said for the last multiple years that the Town of Penfield website is far more robust than any other town website in Monroe County. There's 21 towns in Monroe County. It certainly has been acknowledged for providing information to residents, which is a good thing, which we want to do, by the Democrat and Chronicle. I think that was 2 years ago in their Sunshine Week promotion, where Penfield was acknowledged for its extensive amount of information that was provided to residents in that website. I think it was one of the only towns that was mentioned in that article by them. So again, proactive steps by the town to keep providing more information to the residents, to have a more user-friendly website. And I think that's a commitment that we've all made here as town board members. Certainly Dave Renner at Penfield Community Television and staff join us in that commitment and have done a fantastic job getting us to this point. And I look forward to seeing the end result and the finished project, which will definitely benefit residents in knowing what's going on in the town. And certainly that's a good thing that we all endorse. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Moore. Additional comments?
Well said, Andy. Just briefly, you know, as Councilman Moore mentioned, the website has been recognized previously for the amount of information, the content, and also just the transparency with the information on there. And so this is more than anything, it's really a new facelift to the town website to make it more user-friendly, make it easier to access from either a tablet or mobile device, or just visiting the website, search features, things along those lines. So I also want to just thank Dave and his team for the due diligence that they did and the hard work they did in really putting together the RFP as far as what the town is looking to achieve by updating its website. And so not only did they, you know, go well over and above on that regard, but then also and just interacting with the responses to determine which is the best vendor moving forward. So I just want to commend them for their efforts there, and certainly look forward to a new website here, hopefully in 2019. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Quinn. Additional comments?
I'll just quickly add to the comments already made that I certainly am impressed as well with the extensive work that was done by our communications team in vetting the information that was presented to them. As well, I think it's very exciting to hear when we ask questions about the possibilities of this new website for our residents, interactive possibilities, accessibility possibilities. But I also wanted to point out that I was pleased and pleased that our team took a specific look for folks with disabilities, and they're being able to access the website as well. That was a particular criteria that was sought out among many other ones, and I appreciate them taking the time to consider that.
Great. Thank you very much. All right, seeing,
I'll add
Okay,
that I
we'll do
thought
that.
where we're going with Revise, they were an excellent candidate. Dave explained all the different avenues that they would check mark of what they were capable of doing, and they far exceeded everyone else that was in that were submitted applications. It was amazing. And they have a 20-year track record and really good recommendations, so I'm really looking forward to see what Revise will do with our website.
okay, thank you. Mr. Horowitz, any comments?
No, I'm all for it.
All right, very good. Seeing no further comments, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
5 ayes. Authorization to establish a traffic control device on Capstone Rise at Creek Street.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas pursuant to the New York State Vehicle and Traffic Law, the Penfield Town Board is given the authority to authorize the establishment of various traffic control devices within the town of Penfield. Whereas the town of Penfield has received a request from the Monroe County Department of Transportation to install a stop sign on Capstone Rise at Creek Street. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board authorizes the traffic control device as stated in the letter dated December 20th, 2018, and be it further resolved that the town clerk is directed to sign and return with a copy of this resolution the letter to the Monroe County Department of Transportation.
Great, thank you. Discussion. See no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
5 ayes. Purchase of a 2019 Ford F-350 XL pickup truck.
Mr. Supervisor, before I move the balance of this resolution, I did notice a discrepancy within the body that I would like to move to cure. The title of this resolution has purchase of a 2019 pickup truck, which is accurate. However, the body of the resolution indicates a 2018 pickup truck. So I would move to revise the first paragraph to read 2019 Ford F-350.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded, so this is to change the date from 2018 to 2019 only. Seeing no further discussion, I would ask for a roll call vote on the amendment only.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
5 ayes.
Now on the main motion.
Moved.
Second.
Messing you all up. Whereas the Director of Public Works desires to purchase one 2019 Ford F-350 XL Crew Cab from the Onondaga bid number 7974, 2019, from Van Bordo Ford for a total cost of $41,095.90, and where the total funds for the purchases are budgeted in the 2019 Highway Department budget. Now therefore be it resolved that the Director of Public Works is authorized to purchase the vehicle with 9-foot platform body, light bar, and rear lift gate attachments.
Okay, thank you. Further discussion. So I think the point here is it is coming off the Onondaga bid. So one of the opportunities that we have under state law is that we can piggyback. What that means is that as we're bidding out equipment, wherever we can get the best price for the town, we can piggyback. So it doesn't have to be, in this particular case, this is a purchase of a Ford vehicle. It doesn't have to be at a local Ford dealership here. We can go to where the cheapest or the best price is to get that particular vehicle. They typically then ship it to a local Ford dealer, and we can pick it up accordingly. But again, it's a way to leverage the best cost for the town overall. Okay, seeing no further discussion, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
5 ayes. Purchase of a 2019 Ford F-350 XL pickup truck.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas the Director of Public Works desires to purchase one 2019 Ford F-350 cab from the Onondaga bid from Penfield Ford for a total cost of $49,777.59. Whereas the total funds for the purchases are budgeted in the 2019 Parks Department budget. Now therefore be it resolved that the Director of Public Works is authorized to purchase the vehicle with a 9-foot platform body, light bar, plow, and spreader attachments.
Thank you. Discussion. See no further discussion, roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
5 ayes. Purchase of a Cromerfield painter sprayer.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas the Director of Public Works desires to purchase one Cromer Da Vinci field painter and sprayer from Lewis and Tanner Incorporated for a total cost of $18,949. And whereas the total funds for the purchases are budgeted in the 2019 Parks Department budget. Now therefore be it resolved that the Director of Public Works is authorized to purchase the equipment.
Thank you. Discussion. Seeing no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
5 ayes. Appointments to the Transportation Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Be it hereby resolved that Jason Ebbs be appointed to the Penfield Transportation Committee for a term to expire December 31st, 2019.
Thank you. Further discussion on this resolution? We did. Yep, we did. Thank you, Mr. Horowitz. It's been moved and seconded. Seeing no further discussion, I'd ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
5 ayes. Appointments to the Library Board.
So moved.
Second.
This resolution reappoints Chris Flute to the Penfield Library Board for a term expiring December 31st, 2023. And the resolution also appoints Eliza Coyle to the Penfield Library Board to fill the term expiring December 31st, 2019.
Okay, thank you. Further discussion on this resolution? Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
5 ayes.
Thank you. This brings us to our next section. Is there any old business to come before the board this evening? Seeing none, is there any new business to come before the board this evening? Again, seeing none, this brings us to our second public participation. Again, if you're here in the audience, you can address the board on any matter. You can call in at 340-8771, or you can log on at penfield.org. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the board on any matter? Okay, I did receive via our website Adrian Dahl from Lost Mountain Trail. And the comment is, this is in regard to development of Shadow Pines. Almost all of the comments about the use of the land involves leaving it natural. We would like to see a new community recreation senior center built, if not there, somewhere. Penfield is not a town of planned progress if it does not include the senior citizens. We are currently crammed into a small space, along with recreation, library, town courts, and police, although we don't have any police. They need more space, and we, the seniors, need space of our own. We have an abundance of parks and more parks. Please listen to others' ideas. Thank you. Okay, seeing no further input at public participation.
Mr. Supervisor?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
With the anticipation of some significant snowfall this weekend, public service reminder, please shovel out your fire hydrants if you're out in the yard. It's always appreciated by fire and emergency personnel. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
And Mr. Supervisor, real quickly, with that resident that had that concern, regarding senior activities and the Shadow Pines Committee. Could you please forward that to
Absolutely.
appropriate staff so the Shadow Pines Land Use Committee can be made aware of that resident's comment?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We will, I will give it to the clerk, and the clerk will get it distributed to all the parties. Thank you very much. All right, thank you, Mr. Quinn, for sharing that. Rest assured that if we do receive any snow, hopefully less than more, that our crews will be out southing and plowing. Hopefully, they don't have to do too much of that, but they will be on duty and will accomplish anything that we need to do to keep roads open and clear. There being no further business to come before the board, the January 16, 2019 legislative session stands adjourned. I'd like to thank everyone that participated. I'd like to thank PCTV. This meeting is officially adjourned at 7:50 p.m. Thank you.